If you want to scare someone on the first date, you should talk about religion, politics, and who's going to pay the bill. Hey guys, welcome to the podcast, One More Mile. I am Paula, and I'm your host. Today we're going to be talking about a very passionate topic that I love to talk with everyone, and that is 50-50. 50-50 relationships, 50-50 in the economy of this world. And I gotta make a disclaimer and a warning that this is just my experience, okay? This is just what I go through and what I live through and what I do with my life and with my husband and with everyone. And this is coming from someone that is a heterosexual cisgender woman and is in a heterosexual relationship. So yes, a girl and a boy. It's not like a guy and a guy or a girl and a girl. I don't know how I will do it if I was in a situation like that, but I'm gonna be talking about cisgender heterosexual relationships that are very, like common, like eh. But I would love to, if you are in a homosexual relationship, if you are a guy and a guy or a girl and a girl, or you are a non-binary with a non-binary or anything, if you're dating anyone that is not like the traditional, I'm doing this with my fingers, okay, if you're not watching, but the traditional heterosexual relationship, I would love to know how do you do finances, because I do feel like, especially when it's a guy and a girl, there's a lot of pressure on the man to take a lot of financial load on the household, on the relationship per se. And that's because of how we've been raised as a society, how we've been raised culturally. Culturally, oh my God, I'm from Latin America. I can't even talk. And especially in Latin America, the guy pays. Like the man has to pay and provide for the family. That's how it is. And there's also feminism and being independent, and we're gonna talk about all of that. But if you are not in a heterosexual relationship, please comment down below how you do your finances, because I would love to know. I'm intrigued. Okay, this is all gonna be my experience, and I'm gonna give advice as well as for little girls. If you are in high school, if you're 15, 14, 16, or any age, but you're in high school, please listen to me. Especially again, boy and girl relationships. Let the guy pay. Let the guy treat you nice, especially if you are in the first stages of talking, especially if it is a first date, especially if he asks you out. If you ask the guy out, I think that's different. I always follow the rule, the one that asks out pays. But then again, I have never asked a guy out. So girls, please, especially if you're in high school, if you are, even if you're not in high school, even you're in your 20s, let the guy pay the first dates. I do feel like there's this sense of courtesy, and let him court you and let him take care of you, and just be a gentleman, at least the first dates. Then you can go 50-50 and Venmo him, whatever you want to Venmo him. But the first dates, I feel like the guy should always be paying and taking care of the girl that he wants to have a relationship of, or the girl that he wants to do anything with. Just if you're hanging out with a girl on that note that you want to do something with her, be something with her, pay for her. Now, this is controversial because when I was in Ecuador, I will only date, or I will only go out with guys that I knew. Either friends that were friends of my friends, someone that I saw on college, someone from high school, someone from my neighborhood, someone that I knew was friend of someone, the cousin of someone. It was all connected, right? So I knew that they were in potential gonna do harm on me. They weren't gonna go Ted Bundy on me, okay? But now in New York, if you're in New York, or if you're in the States, even if you're in Ecuador or in any country in Latin America, I would advise that the first dates, until you get to know this person a little bit better, don't go in the car with a stranger, especially if you are going out with someone from Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, any of the dating apps or anyone from the internet that you don't know and you have never seen his face in person, please don't get in that car. Please, please, please don't let that person know where you live. Just meet up at a public spot where you can scream and yell if you have to. I know I'm going to a different topic right now, but yeah, a lot of girls are gonna be like, yeah, he has to pick me up and he has to pay. Let him pay. Maybe he can pay for the Uber, but don't let the Uber see the address. Like, just be very careful and very mindful. But if you're at a restaurant and yeah, make him pay. Make his pockets hurt. Da, 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 da. I have always let the guy pay on the first dates. I I don't even I feel like before I used to reach for my purse and be like, when you play like that you're gonna take the car, and then you do the whole fight of like, no, I got it, and you're like, really, and he's like, yeah, really, and you're like, no, please, and and then he pays. I used to do that until I think one time they actually let me pay. So I was like, no, I'm never doing this again. And I remember one of my worst first dates was with this guy that I really liked. We've been talking for a while. We were in Ecuador. I was in Ecuador. We were talking for a while and we met up at the mall. And then he was like, you want to get a burger? And I'm like, yeah. So we went to get a burger and he was like, okay, go. And he kind of like pushed me for me to order the burger. It was like a fast food place. And I'm like, okay. So I ordered my burger and then the cashier was like, oh, are you paying together or separate? And he was like, oh, separate. And then I'm like, okay. So I paid for my burger and then I ate my burger. And he was like, yeah, I'm so into you, blah, blah, blah. I can see this thing going well. And I was like, you did not invite me to come to the mall to pay for my burger. Like, it wasn't clicking for me. I had to call my cousin. Please pretend that you have an emergency. I'm leaving. Bye. So ever since that happened, I never pretend to offer that I'm going to pay because I'm not going to pay, especially in the first date. With my current husband, I will have to admit that he paid everything that we did for probably the first 3-4 months that we were dating. We will go out to nice restaurants. We will go out in New York to bars. I was drinking at the time. I don't drink anymore. We will go out to bars. He will pay. If anything, I think only a few times I will pay for the tip. Because I used to work in restaurants, so I carry cash. So I will pay for the tip. Or if we were with friends and we were buying like rounds, I will buy one round. Or if we were at a coffee shop, I will maybe pay for the coffee shop, for the coffee. But I wouldn't go out of my way to organize a date for him. And like, no, that was his job. Now, I do feel like in this economy, and once you start to develop more of a connection, a truthful connection with someone, and basically be in a relationship with someone, you kind of understand the struggle a little bit more. And especially if you're living together, I have a bunch of friends that live together. I have a bunch of friends that are not married and just they live together, and that's it. And like me, I'm married and I live with just my husband, and we split the rent 50-50. When I say it to some people, they fall like 50-50, you pay rent. Like, yes, I do pay rent. And I wish I fell in love with a billionaire, but my husband is not a billionaire. Not that I know of, so I pay rent because in this economy. And I think it's also important, if you're a girl, if you're a guy, if you're whatever, I think a nice thing is to do things like be equal, but also understand the other person. Because if you are making 100K a year and I'm making 30K a year, it makes no sense that we're splitting 50-50. And this is a very tough conversation that I had with my husband the first few months that I was starting to pay more, because he will have this luxury taste of New York, of like going to Michelin star restaurants, 3-course meal, and like going to ice skating and then have hot chocolate in the top of the Empire State Building, like crazy stuff that I was enjoying it when I wasn't paying, but I wasn't making the plan. So for me, it made no sense that you make this extravagant plan and then you want to split 50-50. And I told him this, and if you're listening to this, you know it's true, that I was a server at a time. He had a good job. He still has a good job. And I was a server at a time, but I was taking a lot of load in my family. Like me and my family, we came here it's going to be 4 years in May. We came here 3.5 years ago, and we started from scratch. So imagine starting from scratch in New York, in expensive New York. So I had to pay for rent for my family. I live with my family, and everyone thinks like, oh, you live with your family, you save on rent. No, I don't. No, I didn't. I was paying, in fact, more of rent because I was the one that spoke the most English in my family, the one that had the better job. So I was taking more load on my mom, my dad, and my brother, and on myself. So yes, I was making good money because servers make good money, but I was spending it on my family and trying to survive when we were just starting. And even until now, I do take responsibility of my family. When we go out or something, I will pay the bill. I will split it with my husband just so my dad or my mom doesn't have to take that load as immigrants that just got to this country. So that was something that I made very clear for him at the beginning. I was like, I don't know what other girls have you date, but you have to understand that I'm coming from a point where I'm very different than you, especially for the fact that you are born here. You have all of these things that allows you to be in this country good, and like you're a citizen. I am just a girl from Ecuador that is an immigrant. Like, how are you gonna make me split the bill on this restaurant, expensive restaurant that you chose? So he understood better. So if you're in the same situation and you are asking your partner 50-50, or your partner is asking you a 50-50, if you live together, try to understand how much they are making. Some people don't have financial transparency with their partner, and I feel like that's the first mistake ever. You have to talk financials with your partner. You have to talk about money. I know it's uncomfortable. I know you don't like it, but you have to talk about it. And you have to be transparent. You have to be like, hey, I make minimum wage and you make $30 an hour, so I'm gonna need you to take more on the house. I'm gonna need you to pay 70-30. I'm gonna need you to pay the utilities. I'm gonna need you to pay the car. I'm gonna need you to do something because I could get another job to pay 50-50, but I'm gonna be burned out and I don't think it's fair. And I think that could be because of many reasons. Some people just have a degree and they have better chances to have a better job. Some people were born here. Some people have better skills. It could be anything. It could be literally anything, the industry that you're at. But knowing your partner and understand your partner, it's what's going to make the quality being better. So I don't think it's 50-50 per se what should be beneficial for someone. I think it should be understanding, okay, how much you make, how much I make, we meet there. And then try to make a financial agreement on how are we gonna split things. Now, I know I said all of these nice things about helping your partner, and like I do think with my husband, our current financial situation is kind of like I will say it's a 60-40. We split the rent evenly, but he does pay more on some stuff. But we do split some things just by the middle, just because we make the same. Right now, luckily, I've grown up enough where we're not at the point when we were dating that he was making a lot more than me, or I'm not taking as much on my family that I can just spend my money on myself and do the things that I want to do and save and stuff. So I do feel like we are at a point where we are making the same, basically. So it makes sense that if we make the same, we split everything evenly. But I do feel like also in the way that he was raised and the way that I was raised, we both like that he just pays a little bit more as a guy. It could be anything. Like we go to dinner and he will get dinner, and we like we wouldn't count that. And when we do numbers every here and there, like every month. He will be like, no, the dinner is on me, I'm not gonna make you pay for that. No, yeah, I budget this, I'm not gonna make you pay for it. Like certain things that is not gonna be split in the middle, which I do think is nice, that a guy would like to still, treat his wife, his woman out here and there. I know this works for certain people because we have two incomes, and I don't even know how it could be if we have a child. I don't want to talk about it because I'm not thinking about children right now, and I don't think I will think about children in a really long time. But I do feel like for some people, for example, I think my parents, I haven't talked to them about this, but what I've noticed that they do and what I think they do is that they take both of their incomes. My parents have been married for 26 years. I'm 25. So they know each other for a really long time. Like they're like one. And basically they put two incomes because they do make kind of like very different amount of money. My dad makes a little bit more than my mom. So they put both incomes in like one big will, and then they use things. Okay, we're gonna pay rent this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, you wanna buy this, okay. And they kind of like use it all together. I feel like just because of the generation that I'm at, we do have a joint account, so I can see how much he makes, he can see how much I make, but his salary is his salary and my salary is my salary. And if I want to buy a $600 ticket tomorrow to see Justin Bieber front row, I'm going to do it, because if I already pay the things that I have to pay in the house and I have extra money, I will do it. And same thing, if he wants to go to Comic-Con or buy this video game that he wanted to buy, he can do it as long as he pays the things for the house, and like we're good. So it's like understanding and knowing your finances and knowing your spouse's or your partner's finances. Now, okay, I said all of these things, beautiful things about supporting your partner and understanding, especially if you're a girl, understanding the guy, the economy, blah, 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 blah. We are women, we can work, blah, 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 blah. Now, this, because of my situation, but I've known friends and I had friends that they are dating guys that have money. They're dating guys that either come from a wealthy family, or they're dating guys that are on a different tax bracket. Like they are making 6 figures a year. They're making 200K a year. Listen to me, girls. Listen to me. Even if you're a guy, if you're dating another guy, if you're dating someone that makes a lot of money, and that someone is making you split even a coffee, dump that person, please. Dump that person. Is not worth it. I really don't like when someone makes an exorbitant amount of money and they want to play smart and they just want to charge their partner for everything. I do feel like you can contribute a little bit. Like, yeah, if you go out, you can pay for the parking. Like, it's not that serious, but let the guy treat you nice. I know with economy is hard, but just my mom gave me one tip one day. Just say yes to everything. If he buys you ice cream and you weren't feeling like having ice cream, just say yes, because then he's never gonna buy you ice cream again. If he wants to take you shopping but you don't want to go shopping because that you don't like that store, just buy anything, even if you buy one shirt, because then he's never gonna buy you a shirt if you say no. So all the time say yes. Sometimes I feel like we have to train guys. It's gonna sound really bad, but it is what it is. Just take everything, say yes, feel pretty, accept things, and enjoy life. Enjoy your life. With this being said, I feel like 50-50. I feel like I do 50-50. I technically do, because we make the same thing and we split everything by the middle. But I feel like at the beginning, if you're listening to this and you're dating, especially in New York, just, if you're a girl, get some makeup. Like, makeup is expensive, guys. Makeup is expensive. This full face right now of what I'm wearing, it could be like $150. So Get pretty, get a nice dress, get your makeup, and go on dates every day of the week until you met the guy of your dreams. And don't pay for that day. Don't pay for that dinner. Get free dinner every day if you have to. Sometimes I wish, not that I don't want to be married, but I wish I would have dated more and go on a different date every night and don't have to worry about food because like am I gonna cook tonight? No, I'm just gonna date and eat for free. Also, another important thing, let the guy pay, let the guy treat you nice, but never let the guy keep tabs on you, especially with money. Money, I feel like, is such a power move, and I don't ever want to put myself in a situation, or to any girl listening, especially if you're a girl, put yourself in a situation where you are in danger or where you cannot do anything or leave a place that you want to leave just because you don't have money to do it or just because you're reliant on someone's income. I see a lot of stay home girlfriends. I get it if you're a stay home mom and you have to just be with your kids and you made that commitment with your husband. I get it. But if you're just a stay home wife or stay home girlfriend, keep working. Even if he's paying for everything in the house and you don't have to pay for anything, keep working. Keep working a part time, something as a side. Save money because as much as I love my husband, as much as I love love, as much as I believe in marriage, and as much as I believe in good people, I feel like anything could happen in this life. And someday it could happen that this man will wake up and be like, get out of my house. I don't love you anymore. I love the 20-year-old woman, blonde chick that I met at the office yesterday. You have to leave. And you are 20 years into this relationship. You have no job. You have no experience on the job market and your career because you were stay-home girlfriend, wife, whatever. And you have to start from scratch because you didn't have a savings. You have to go back with your parents. If your parents take you back, you have to sleep on the couch of a friend. So just because I'm not saying to always think of the worst of people, but as One Direction will say, hoping for the best but expecting the worst, and having your own personal savings and your emergency savings for when things get crazy, because things are going to get crazy. Even if you break up, if you get a divorce, or even if any emergency that you have, you need to have your own savings and you need to be able to rely on those and you need to have an income. So please, girls, study. And if you can't study, because I couldn't study here in the US, it's too expensive for me. But even if you can, just work. Find ways to make money, find ways to have a side hustle, and just have a emergency boat for yourself. The last thing that I want to say about this whole 50-50 topic is, please, girls, beautiful women out there, beautiful, amazing, pretty girls all over the world, don't pay for a guy. Don't do that. And okay, maybe I'm sounding like a bitch right now. And maybe my husband is listening to this and he's gonna file for divorce tomorrow because what on earth? But even I have told this before to him, and don't let the guy that loves you, because if a guy loves you, he's not gonna put you in discomfort. He's not gonna make you feel pressure. I know a partner should be someone that you rely on, and you could be like my partner, me and my partner against the world. But sometimes guys will put you in discomfort when they have all of the other resources in the world. Like, let's say your partner has to pay his car and he needs $1,000. He will rather put you in discomfort than ask his guy friends, his parents, his boss, a bank. Like, he will rather take that load on you as your partner, as the girl that has to be on a feminine energy. He will rather put that burden on you than figure it out himself. So I'm just saying, if you want to have a relationship where your man has masculine energy, and you could be relaxed. You could be just a relaxed person. It doesn't matter if you're going to be in your feminine energy. You just want to be relaxed. Don't solve his life that easily. Don't solve his life that easily. I think a guy should be that for you, and you should be his support. You should be his number one support. You could be like, hey babe, I love you. You're gonna fix this. You're gonna get through this. You are such a hard worker. I found this job. You can apply here. I talked to my ex-manager. He has an opening. You could have a side hustle. You have a part-time job. You could be his support, but don't fix his problems, because then he's gonna get used to it, and you're gonna be 10 years married, and then he's gonna be like, hey babe, did you pay the groceries this month, because I still don't have money. And he'd rather spend money on going to bars with the friends, or playing video games, or like whatever. If you don't want that to be your future, be his supporter, but don't solve his problems, because then he's gonna become a problem to you, and you don't want that. And if my husband is listening to this, he knows this himself. I have told him, like, you're not gonna put me in discomfort. You have a lot of friends. Ask them. I know they can help you out. I know you can do this. I know you can get through this. But yeah, like, it's just, I feel like that's also in their ego. Like, he figured it out. My husband asked me for money. I didn't give it to him, and he figured it out, and he's fine, and we're fine. So sometimes it's just, I don't know how to say it in English, but es las ganas de joder. Like, they just want to. So yeah, you gotta train them like a puppy sometimes. You gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, this was everything for my 50-50 relationships episode. Again, if you are in a guy and guy, woman and woman, non-binary relationship, I want to see how you do your finances, because this was very like gender roles and like feminism and very cultural episode and how we were raised. But I would love to know how you, even if you're in a heterosexual relationship, how do you do your finances? Any tips to the girls out there, to the girlies out there that are navigating the dating pool and doing 50-50, or debating if to do 50-50 or not? And I would love to hear you guys. I'm gonna link all of my social media in the description box, and my links on Spotify as well. You can rate the podcast on Spotify, give it a like, subscribe on YouTube, and follow me on Instagram, TikTok. I post daily in there. And I love you guys so much. I will be back next week, and I will see you on a new episode. Bye.